Welcome back to This Week. I'm pleased to be joined by the former mayor of this great city, the former governor of this great state, the Honorable Phil Bredesen. Nice to see you as always, sir.
Great to be back again.
Can you believe it's been 11 years since you've been in office? Does it seem that long ago?
It seems a long time ago. But I haven't been counting.
When you look at the accomplishments during your term as mayor and your term as governor, and the accomplishments that have happened since that time, when you look at Nashville and the changes that have happened, it's remarkable.
It's a very different place. I mean, I think from the time I was mayor, the thing I'm proudest about is not any specific thing like sports teams, but just I think the city just expected a lot more of itself at the end, and things seemed possible that didn't seem possible before, and that's played on, I think, many times, repeated over the years.
It seems that the real catalyst for change began, and I'm giving credit to Richard Fulton, when the first convention center was built in like '88, somewhere in that range. That hole stood for a long time before it finally got built, but it got built. It began even more when you came into office. When you came into office from, 91 to 99, you got 32 new schools developed and built, renovated 43 others. You built the Bridgestone Arena with build it and we'll come, no team, hoping for an NBA team. You welcomed the Houston Oilers from Houston to Tennessee. They became the Titans, of course, got a stadium referendum approved, built Nissan Stadium, secured the NHL Nashville Predators hockey team. As you said, quite a list of accomplishments.
Well, see, you forgot the libraries. And I'm proud of those. I think of it back, as a city that was really ready to move, and it was the right combination of personality on my part and the city ready to move, and so on. I think the business background gives you some experience in doing deals to get things done. But it was a great time for Nashville, and I think Nashville has done a fantastic job of just continuing to build on what got started during the 90s.
For the past several years now, you and your successor, Governor Bill Haslam, have been part of a podcast. Maybe you might be right. Obviously, considering opposite points of view, discussing those points of view, looking for common ground. That's not happening right now. What have you learned from doing the podcast over the past 3 years?
Well, it's been interesting. I mean, what we wanted to do was to get people who had conservative and liberal views about something, but who were smart about it. I mean, the people who had really thoughtful views, as opposed to these crazies that both parties have got at the edges. And that's been very interesting. A lot of people, I think, have liked to hear a discussion of that sort, of just kind of a thoughtful, here's a conservative point of view on this, here's a liberal point of view on this.
Yeah, you're not naive. We're not there. We're not by a long shot. And it's going to take a long time to get back. Do you think at some point we will get back, where there's at least discussion of compromise? Nothing's getting done the way things are right now in Congress, in Washington, because if it's a Democratic proposal, the Republicans aren't going to vote for it. Yeah. Joe Biden did get a couple of things done, bipartisan-wise, the infrastructure bill, a few others, but it's rare.
Yeah. I think it's tough, I'll be honest with you. I think, the last time the country was this divided was probably during the Depression, and it was World War II that fixed that, not politics. And, suddenly there was some common thing that everybody could come together in support of. And I hate to say it, but I almost think it's going to take some kind of threat or some major event that's like that to bring things back together, or a president who really wants to do it. But it's, it's tough. People get set in their ways, and we're sitting here in a media center, but the media hasn't helped in a lot of this, and the ability, just the way things were split up. I mean, both of us can remember when there were 3 TV stations in town, and that was where people got their news. And now you can just sort of pick and choose the news you want from anywhere, and people tend to pick and choose news they agree with and points of view they agree with, and it just helps exacerbate that. You
were the last Democrat elected statewide in this state. That's been 13, 14 years ago now. Demographics are changing. Tennessee is growing. I'm seeing younger folks in the Metro Council working to get in the legislature. There's only one Democrat right now. It's very much Republican control of the Congress, of both houses in the state legislature, the governor's office. Is your party poised to begin to come back? I see the impetus with people who are seeking office on lower levels to try to move forward.
Yeah, I think they're trying to, but the hard part for a Democrat is not to get pulled into the National Democratic Party. I mean, even back when I was governor, where things were starting to head that way, but they were not as bad as they are now. I always had to really carefully, keep a distance between what I was doing here in Tennessee as a Democrat and what the National Party was talking about. The National Party is much more liberal than I am or than Tennessee is. But I think it's possible, particularly in the executive offices like governor. I mean, there are plenty of states that have governors of the party that is not where the state is. I mean, think of a very popular Republican governor in Massachusetts, for example, because there, people aren't looking for what lever are you going to pull on some vote. If you're governor, you got to, recruit businesses and run things and so on. And so they tend to evaluate them differently. So there may be some possibilities there. I think it'd be a long time before there are senators or congressmen.
Yeah, that was my question. I guess, can Tennessee Democrats like Phil Bredesen, like Ned McWhorter, conservative Democrats, can they still win in this state in spots?
I think it's certainly in the realm of possibility that the right kind of Democrat could run for governor and win. I think I proved personally that you can't do it in the Senate, it's harder with those. What I've found is that people evaluate those offices differently. On the legislative offices, you don't really do a lot. It's what lever are you going to pull when push comes to shove on a Supreme Court nominee or something like that. And whereas with governors, that can affect their lives in terms of the ability to recruit businesses and the like.
Finally, with the presidential race, whether you like him or hate him, with what we know about Donald Trump, are you surprised this election is basically a toss-up at this stage and it's really anybody's race?
I'm a little surprised at that, but it's the way it is. What I've been telling people I know in the Democratic Party is, you need to stop focusing on Trump and start focusing on why running against Trump you're in a tight race. I think Democrats have a lot of work to do to make themselves more attractive to a broader swath of America, and I think there's some people thinking about how you do that. But what both parties are doing is just doubling down on getting your own voters over here and getting them out. Just seems to me like a very sort of a worthless effort in the end when it comes to democracy.
Not a lot of aisle crossing.
Not a lot of aisle crossing, but I guess if I were, I'm not even interested, but if I were chairman of the Democratic Party or something like that, I'd be saying, look, where's the next 10 or 20% of the people, and what are the kinds of things that we're doing that are turning them off, or what are the kinds of things we're failing to do that would be attractive to them?
Well, Bredesen, former mayor, former governor of this great state, appreciate your time and your insights, sir.
Great
Stay with us.
Thank
This
you.
week continues in a moment.